Okay, this is a short video on how to make nouns plural and possessive. And that's what we're studying in Chapter 3 in Business English. So let me share my screen with you. And if you'll take a look at this, you'll see that I have the plural noun section on the top here, and I have the possessive noun section on the bottom, although some of these could be plural and possessive. But let's just quickly run through these. If you've downloaded my notes for Chapter 3, you can go through there and find these examples and these answers. But if you have 1 foot to make it plural, you need to make it feet. If you're not sure, this is called an irregular noun, by the way, because it changes form. And if you're not sure on any of these, you can always go over here. You can always go out to Google, type in Merriam-Webster, and search for Merriam-Webster, Merriam-Webster Dictionary, and you can type in foot in the dictionary and enter, and it will tell you that foot is a noun, and down here it'll show you that foot will turn into feet when you try to make it plural. Okay, so foot, singular, feet, plural. So if you're not sure on any of these problems, you can always, you go here, I don't need anything about cats here. New share, go back to your document. So foot, feet, facts, you notice the rule I gave you in the notes was anytime a noun ends with X, SX, Z, SH, or CH, you have to put ES on the end. So faxes, same thing here, right? Ends in CH, so you're going to put ES on the end. So make sure you understand that rule. S, X, Z, S, and CH have to have ES to make it plural. Here's another irregular noun. Child turns into children for plural more than one. Success ends in S, so you're going to put ES on the end. Successes. Belief, do not change this to believes. Belief is a noun, it's a thing. If you make it into VES instead of F on the end, then you've got a verb. So all we need is beliefs, more than one. Jones is somebody's name, so if that's one person named Jones, you may have all the little Joneses running around. So put an ES, ends in S, so put an ES on the end, and you've got the plural of Jones. So one Mr. Jones here, and then you got Mr. Jones, Miss Jones, and all the little Jones kids, Joneses. Company, company ends in a Y, so look right in front of it, and you'll see a consonant. When you have a consonant in front of the Y, you drop the Y and add IES, and that's what's happening right here. Okay. Knife, some of these endings, F endings and FE endings, you'll have to look up in Merriam-Webster, but you'll see knife turns into knives. Again, go back to Merriam-Webster, type in knife, and it'll show you what the plural is if you need to. Okay, sister-in-law, when you make these plural, you have to take the thing that's most important in this compound noun and make it plural. Well, I'm talking about sisters, not laws. So you would make that plural, sisters-in-law. For journey, you have a vowel right in front of the Y. A vowel right in front of the Y tells you to just add S. Don't drop the Y and add IES. So just add S when you have a vowel in front of the Y. In the book, they give you a number of these foreign words. This one is thesis and ends with IS. To make it plural, you'd make it ES, theses. Same thing here, datum. It ends in UM, and to make it plural, you'd make it data. Here's another one, attorney, that has an E in front of the Y, so whenever you have the E, remember, just put an S on it. When you have a vowel in front of the Y, just put an S on it. Okay, so I've given you a lot of rules on how to make nouns plural. Here's some problems where you need to make them possessive, and this one it says, books of all students. We'll turn it around and say all students' books, and of course students is plural. So one of the rules you learned was when you have a plural noun that ends in S, just put an apostrophe. So that's what we're doing. The students are owning the books. Ends in S, so put an apostrophe. Office of this company. This company's office. So how many companies are we talking about? This one company. So this is your word right here, company. Singular. It's singular and it does not end in S, so put an apostrophe S on it to make it possessive. Make it possess office. Rent of 2 months. 2 months rent. So obviously this 2 is telling you this is plural. So this is your word right here, right? Months, more than one. It ends in S, it's plural, put an apostrophe, you're good to go. Notebook of Jeffrey. So Jeffrey, apostrophe S, it's singular, doesn't end in S. That's why we're putting apostrophe S to show he owns the notebook. Merger of last week, last week's merger. Last week, we're talking about one, singular. So here's your word, week. And it doesn't end in S, it's singular, put an apostrophe S. Both attorneys' fees, this is telling you more than one, right? It's 2. So we're talking about attorneys, the plural word attorneys. So write it down that way. And if it's plural and it ends in S, you put an apostrophe. That's the rule for the possessive part. Several is telling you more than one. So the word is drivers, plural. Okay, well, now that you know it's plural and ends in S, you put an apostrophe and they can own inquiries. One reader's letter, one, singular. So here's your word, reader, one. So doesn't end in S, it's singular, put an apostrophe S. Same thing with the caller's message. The is telling you the one caller. So here's your word, caller. And then because it's singular, it doesn't end in S, put an apostrophe S, and you got it. These customers' names. Okay, these is telling you it's more than one. So here's your word, customers, plural. And if you want to make that possess names, it ends in S, is plural, put an apostrophe. Here's each customer's ticket. Each is, if you get in the habit of saying one after it, that will help you. Each one customer's ticket. So here we go. Customer is your word. Customer is your word. And what you're going to do is singular, doesn't end in S, you're going to put apostrophe S on it. Okay, then we have both companies' records. Both telling you it's 2. So companies would be plural. It ends in S, put an apostrophe, then it owns records. So that's good. I'll give you a little set of notes in the chapter notes that talks about what if more than one person owns something. So my aunts and uncle's motorhome. Okay, if they own it together, and I'll have to tell you this or imply it in the sentence somehow. If they own it together, all you need to do is make the last one possessive. So your aunt and your uncle own the motorhome together. Apparently I left off home. I don't even know if it'll fit. No, it won't fit. That's probably why I left it off. Okay, so make the last one possessive. So uncle, singular. It does not end in S, but an apostrophe S. Okay, if they own it, if they own separate motorhomes, then you would have this aunt would need to be aunt apostrophe S as well. And so you can make both of them possessive, but in this case they own the same thing. 2 brothers-in-law. So 2 is telling you it's plural. Here's your plural, right? Brothers-in-law. And then since brothers-in-law, the plural, does not end in S, it's a compound noun anyway, go to the last part and put the apostrophe S on it, and then they can own beards. Okay, so take a look at these for just a minute. The only places the only thing you really need to memorize is this stuff right here. Everything gets an apostrophe S except where you have a plural that ends in S. So like 2 months rent. So months had to have the S apostrophe or the apostrophe on the end. So it's plural. Here's another one. Attorneys, apostrophe. Drivers, apostrophe. So really the only rule you need to remember is every time you have a choice of making something plural, okay, find out if it's plural and it ends in S. If it is, you just need an apostrophe. Otherwise, it's going to get an apostrophe S on every one of them. So maybe that'll help you out.